In the quiet town of Ravenwood, nestled among the rolling hills and dense forests, there stood a sinister relic of the past, a desolate, abandoned hospital. It was a place of dread and whispered tales, where the tortured souls of the long-forgotten patients still roamed. Among the shadows of this eerie edifice resided Tommy Landry, a high school student of the most unpopular variety. Tommy was an outcast, a pariah, and Halloween was fast approaching, the one night when the social hierarchy of high school was suspended, when the rules changed, and the meek could momentarily inherit the night. Tommy saw an opportunity to rewrite his fate. Determined to seize this chance, Tommy concocted a daring plan. He would throw the most epic Halloween party, inviting the entire school to the abandoned hospital. It would be a rave to end all raves, a night to change his destiny and transform him from an outcast into a legend. Tommy's bold proposition spread through the student body like wildfire, and soon the anticipation of this grand spectacle consumed Ravenwood High. But as Tommy labored to prepare the party, he received a surprising visitor in the form of a letter. The letter, delivered to him mysteriously, bore the unmistakable seal of the Popular Kids, a group known for their cruel pranks and sinister inclinations. The message was concise and chilling: "We'll see you on Halloween night. We have plans of our own." Tommy felt an icy chill in his spine. He had heard whispers of the Popular Kids' affinity for the supernatural, their fascination with dark rituals, and their interest in the supernatural. Fearing the worst, he enlisted the help of his two closest friends, Marcy and Ben, who had been just as much outcasts as he. Together, the trio embarked on a desperate quest to discover the Popular Kids' intentions. It led them deep into the heart of Ravenwood's haunted history, to uncover tales of a deranged doctor who once oversaw the very hospital they intended to party in. Dr. Malachi Evershade was his name, a man infamous for his cruel experiments and his affinity for the occult. The closer they delved into Dr. Evershade's gruesome past, the more convinced they became that the Popular Kids had something insidious planned. The ghostly whispers in the wind, the malevolent glimmers in the forest, all pointed to an eerie connection between the hospital and the doctor's unspeakable practices. On Halloween night, the abandoned hospital stood like a macabre sentinel against the ink-black sky. The wind whispered through its broken windows, sending shivers down the spines of all who dared approach. Tommy, Marcy, and Ben arrived early, setting up lights, speakers, and decorations to ensure the rave went off without a hitch. The night wore on, and as the party began, a wave of excitement washed over the attendees. The music throbbed, and laughter and cheers echoed through the desolate corridors of the hospital. But amid the festivities, Tommy couldn't shake the sense of dread gnawing at his heart. He couldn't find the Popular Kids, nor could he decipher their nefarious plans. Then, as the witching hour drew near, the Popular Kids arrived, led by the enigmatic figure of Jessica, a raven-haired beauty known for her magnetic allure and unexplained powers. She bore an antique Ouija board, worn and faded with age, as if it had been used in countless rituals. Jessica's intentions became clear as she addressed the crowd. She spoke of summoning the spirits that haunted the hospital, of communing with the restless souls of the past, and of finding answers hidden within the ethereal realm. The crowd listened, enchanted and fearful. As the Ouija board was brought to the center of the party, the room fell into an eerie silence. Jessica invited all to participate, and one by one, students hesitantly joined in. The plan had become all too clear to Tommy. Jessica intended to unleash the spirits that had tormented the hospital, and chaos would follow. The plan commenced with an intense séance. The room grew colder, and a spectral presence enveloped the participants. Fingers touched the planchette, and it began to move of its own volition, spelling out messages from beyond. Whispers filled the air, and a malevolent energy surged through the room. Tommy, Marcy, and Ben watched in horror as the board spelled out the name, Malachi Evershade. Dr. Evershade's vengeful spirit had been summoned, and the malevolence in the room grew stronger. Shadows danced on the walls, and strange, unearthly noises filled the air. The horrors of that night were unleashed upon the unsuspecting partygoers. Spirits long bound to the hospital roamed the corridors, manifesting as ghastly apparitions and causing chaos. The walls bled with spectral energy, and the air was thick with malevolence. Tommy, Marcy, and Ben raced to confront the popular kids, hoping to put an end to the madness. They found Jessica at the center of the chaos, her eyes glowing with an unholy light. She was possessed, a vessel for the restless souls that had been awakened. In a desperate struggle, they managed to wrest the Ouija board from her grasp and banished Dr. Evershade's spirit back to the ethereal realm. But the damage was done. The hospital was forever tainted, and the night had become a waking nightmare. As dawn approached, the partygoers fled the haunted hospital, leaving it once again to the dead. Tommy had sought popularity, but instead, he had unleashed a terror beyond imagination. The hospital remained a place of darkness, and the memory of that horrific night would haunt the town of Ravenwood for generations to come. In the wake of the disastrous Halloween night, Ravenwood was forever changed. The abandoned hospital, once a shadowy relic, had now become a cursed edifice, its malignant presence seeping into the very heart of the town. The events of that night had left a permanent scar on Tommy, Marcy, and Ben, and they knew that they had to find a way to contain the malevolent forces they had unleashed. The trio became determined to unravel the mysteries surrounding the hospital and the ominous Ouija board that had served as the catalyst for the chaos. They spent sleepless nights in the library, poring over ancient texts, occult tomes, and local legends. Slowly, a plan began to take shape, one that involved sealing the hospital's otherworldly breaches. Their first discovery was the forgotten history of a reclusive occultist who had once lived in the vicinity of Ravenwood. Her name was Madeline Blackwood, and she was rumored to have wielded formidable powers, including the ability to banish malevolent spirits. With this newfound knowledge, Tommy, Marcy, and Ben embarked on a quest to locate Madeline's descendants and, if possible, obtain her knowledge. Their journey led them deep into the woods, where they came upon a secluded cabin hidden amidst the ancient trees. Inside, they found an elderly woman, Eleanor, who claimed to be a direct descendant of Madeline Blackwood. She confirmed the existence of powerful wards that could be used to seal the hospital, and she agreed to help them in their mission. The group began a rigorous training regimen under Eleanor's guidance, learning the ancient rituals and incantations required to seal the malevolent spirits back into the ethereal realm. Time was of the essence, as the disturbances at the hospital had grown more intense, and whispers of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena were now common throughout the town. On the eve of the next Halloween, the group returned to the hospital, armed with the knowledge and rituals passed down by Madeline Blackwood. As they stepped into the cursed building once more, the atmosphere was stifling and oppressive. The malevolent forces they had awoken on that fateful night seemed to have grown stronger, more determined to resist their efforts. The hospital was a nightmarish labyrinth of darkness, and their path to sealing the breaches was fraught with terror. They encountered the spirits of former patients, twisted and tormented by their experiences, who sought to obstruct their progress. Each step forward was a battle against the malevolence of the hospital, and time seemed to warp as they fought their way deeper into its bowels. The climax of their journey took them to the heart of the hospital, a chamber where the Ouija board had been used that Halloween night. The room pulsed with eerie energy, and the atmosphere was oppressive. In a chilling standoff with Jessica, who had remained possessed, they were forced to use the ancient rituals to confront the spirit of Dr. Malachi Evershade once more. With great effort and the combined strength of their newfound knowledge, they managed to subdue the malevolent doctor's spirit. Dr. Evershade's tormented presence was sealed away, returning the hospital to a relative calm. The spirits that had been unleashed during that Halloween night began to recede, and the malevolence that had plagued Ravenwood slowly faded. Their mission completed, Tommy, Marcy, and Ben, along with Eleanor, sealed the hospital using powerful wards and rituals. The building was now locked in a perpetual state of darkness, never to be disturbed again. In the aftermath, the town of Ravenwood gradually returned to normal, but the memory of that haunted Halloween night lingered. Tommy, Marcy, and Ben had not become the popular kids they had aspired to be, but they had become the saviors of their town, protectors of its secrets and guardians of its tranquility. The abandoned hospital, once a place of dread, remained silent, its horrors sealed away. And in the years that followed, the hospital became a grim reminder of the price of seeking popularity and the consequences of meddling with the supernatural. Ravenwood would forever be haunted by the ghosts of that ill-fated night, a testament to the enduring power of the past and the courage of those who dare to confront it. Time passed, and the events of that harrowing Halloween night began to fade into the annals of history. Tommy, Marcy, and Ben had returned to their roles as outcasts, but they no longer yearned for popularity. They had discovered their true purpose: to protect the town of Ravenwood from the supernatural and ensure that the malevolent forces within the abandoned hospital remained sealed. Throughout the years, the trio continued their studies under Eleanor's guidance. They became well-versed in the occult, learning how to identify and contain supernatural disturbances that occasionally cropped up in Ravenwood. The townsfolk, who were blissfully ignorant of the horrors they had narrowly escaped, often sought the help of these unlikely heroes when faced with unexplained phenomena. As they grew older, Tommy, Marcy, and Ben became known as the town's guardians of the Vale. Their reputation for handling supernatural disturbances spread far and wide, drawing people from neighboring towns who sought their expertise in dealing with otherworldly threats. One chilling winter's night, a particularly distressing case arrived at the doorstep of the guardians of the Vale. The mayor, a skeptical man, had reached out for their help after experiencing unexplainable occurrences in his own home. Shadowy figures and eerie whispers haunted his nights, and he had heard of their reputation as protectors of Ravenwood. Upon investigating, the trio discovered that the mayor's home had become a focal point for a malevolent entity, one that had somehow found a way to break free from the hospital's sealed confines. The entity was a malicious spectre that had once been a patient of Dr. Malachi Evershade, and it now sought vengeance against the living. As they delved deeper into the case, they realized that the mayor had unwittingly become a conduit for the spirit's malevolence. The entity's power was growing, threatening to expand beyond the mayor's home and wreak havoc throughout Ravenwood. With the stakes higher than ever, the guardians of the Vale knew they had to take action. They returned to the abandoned hospital, armed with the knowledge and rituals they had acquired over the years. The entity's spectral presence within the hospital had grown stronger, a direct result of its malevolent influence over the mayor's life. In a climactic showdown, they faced the vengeful spirit once again, using their newfound expertise to confront it. The battle was fierce, with the very essence of the town at stake. With determination, knowledge, and the courage they had displayed on that fateful Halloween night, they managed to weaken the entity's hold. Drawing upon the power of Madeline Blackwood's wards and their deep understanding of the supernatural, they successfully sealed the malevolent spirit back into the hospital. The mayor's home was cleansed, and peace was restored to Ravenwood once more. The guardians of the Vale had once again prevailed, ensuring the safety of their town and the continued protection of its dark secrets. As they left the abandoned hospital, they knew that the malevolent forces within were contained, but they also understood that the veil between the living and the supernatural would forever remain thin in Ravenwood. Tommy, Marcy, and Ben had found their purpose in protecting their town from the dark forces that lurked in the shadows. They may not have achieved popularity in the traditional sense, but they had earned the respect and gratitude of their fellow townsfolk. As they looked out at the moonlit town of Ravenwood, they were content in their role as the town's guardians, standing vigilant against the horrors of the night, knowing that they would forever be bound by their duty to protect the veil that separated the living from the supernatural.